A good Erev Shabbos, everyone. Erev Shabbos, Parshas Vayechi, the end of Sefer Bereshis. In the Parsha, we see the brachas that are given by Yaakov Avinu to his children and to his grandchildren. And from here we learn the minhag of Friday night of a parent giving a bracha to their child and saying, Yisimcha Elokim Efraim and Menashe. You give a bracha to the boys. And of course, we have to ask the question of why dafka Efraim and Menashe? Why not like the girls, the avos? Why not that Yisimcha Elokim Avram Yosef Yaakov, Moshe, Aaron, David? There's a lot of good choices. Even Yosef himself. Why dafka Yisimcha Elokim Efraim and Menashe? The classic answer that's brought is because they were brought up in Golus, and that they were able to grow into such magnificent boys. Even though they were in Golus, they were alone, they were completely separated from their core. We turn to our children, we say to them, God should make you and give you the strength of Efraim and Menashe to be able to hold true to your values, even when you're being brought up in a situation that's less than ideal. Another explanation they give is that they had no sibling rivalry. They didn't fight with each other. Grandfather gave him a bracha, put one hand on one on the other, switched his hands, whatever, gave each one of them different brachas, and they didn't have any jealousy, didn't have any problems, any difficulties. And that's what we're saying to our children. You should be like Efraim and Menashe. You should get along with your siblings. Get along with each other, love each other. Don't be jealous of each other. It's beautiful. I'll tell you another amazing thing. Yisimcha Elokim Efraim and Menashe, that another unique feature of Efraim and Menashe is that they were able to exceed their potential. There were many, many difficulties in their lives, many reasons why they shouldn't have ended up the way that they ended up, but that they had the ability to be able to take their potential and to be able to go beyond even what anybody would have thought they were capable of doing, to be able to accomplish incredible things. That's the bracha that we give to our children. The Simcha Elokim Efraim and Menashe, you should have the ability to be able to push yourself beyond any limitations and to be able to exceed your potentials and exceed anybody's wildest imagination. You know, there's a crazy statement from Chazal. Kol hagadol mechavero yitzar gadol imenu. That who's ever greater than their friend is, the Yetzer Hara is greater. Think about it. Just because a person is great, you would think that they have a diminished Yetzer Hara, that they have a control over the Yetzer Hara. Why is it called a gadol mechavero yitzar gadol imenu? Because a gadol is a person, a great person, giant of a person, is a person that's able to control themselves, that's able to take the challenges that they have and to be able to withstand those challenges, to be able to climb above those challenges. Kol hagadol mechavero, a person that has a tremendous Yetzer Hara, is yitzar gadol imenu. The proof that this person is a great proof is that they have such a big Yetzer Hara. Because when you can control the Yetzer Hara, that's when you become a giant. You weren't given a big Yetzer Hara without being given the ability to be able to climb above that Yetzer Hara and to be able to control that Yetzer Hara. Yosef had a massive Yetzer Hara, and he had a massive ability to be able to control that. And look at what he did. And he achieved godless. He achieved greatness with that. Because when you're able to take your potentials and climb above your potentials and to be able to accomplish incredible things with those potentials, to exceed your potentials, that's an incredible thing. That's how you tell a big person. Look at the big challenges and look at how they pass and how they rise above those big challenges. You know, if I were to ask you, who's the greatest people in Klal Yisrael? Who's got the biggest neshamas in Klal Yisrael? So you would say the Talmidei Chachamim, Torah scholars. But I think the biggest neshamas in Klal Yisrael, Down syndrome children. The Chazon Ish used to stand up when a Down syndrome child would walk into the room. They asked the Chazon Ish, why are you standing? When you walk up, Rabbi walks into the room, Talmid Chacham walks into the room, your parent walks into the room, Down syndrome child. Said because they have huge neshamas. Because any neshama that's brought into this world that is not mechuyev mitzvahs, not obligated to keep mitzvahs, That's a massive neshama. To be put into a situation where they can't, they're not capable of keeping mitzvahs. That means that they have an incredible potential to be able to accomplish incredible things, because otherwise they never would have been given such an isayin. It's the nisyanis that we have that prove the power and the strength of who we are. We know that you have to give somebody the benefit of the doubt. You have to dan l'chav schus. Doesn't just mean don't be negative. When you see somebody doing something, then vidanas kol adam l'chav schus. Give them the benefit of the doubt. It wasn't so bad. No, l'chav schus means you have to look at them and say, it was great. There was a positive thing there. Because we have to believe that everybody has incredible potential. And when I see you doing something that maybe is not so nice, I have to assume that you have the potential to be able to turn that into something awesome. That no, what you did was not so nice. But I know that you have the potential to do something incredible, because if you could do this, that means you have the potential to do something awesome and amazing. Because we all have that. We all have incredible potential. And our challenge is to reach beyond that potential, to be able to exceed our potentials and to be able to accomplish great things. To be able to exceed your potential, you have to recognize that it's really, ultimately, it's all about the effort that we put into things. We said that Yosef was an ish matzliach. The reason we call him an ish matzliach is because look at how much energy he put into his life. Look at how much energy he put into controlling himself and to make himself into an incredible human being. That's an ish matzliach. Not because of what he did, but because of the energy that he put in. Yosef HaTzadik stayed in the game with all the challenges and with all the difficulties, being thrown in jail, being pursued by Mrs. Potiphar. With all the challenges that he had in his life, being pursued by his brothers, being thrown into a pit, being sold to the Yishmaelim, his father abandoning him, his brothers abandoning him in his mind. And yet he continued to push forward. That's how you start to pull out of yourself incredible things. It's not up to you to finish. But you can't be mevat from. You can't not start it. You have to be in the game. The more effort you put into things, the more outcome there is. There's amazing halacha by candlelighting on Hanukkah. When you light candles on Hanukkah, if the wind comes and blows them out, so then there's difference of opinion with the yotzei, not yotzei. And in the end, we say that if there was enough oil in the lamps, in order for it to be able to last the requisite amount of time, and it blew out, you don't have to relight it. But if there wasn't enough, and you lit it, you were not yotzei. And it got blown out, you weren't yotzei. Because there has to be a potential. And when there is incredible potential, that's all that matters. There has to be an ability for it to be able to happen, because then the right things are going to happen. At the end of the day, it's all about the effort. You also have to recognize that when you fall, you're not falling, you're tripping. Because when you fall, you're out. Game over. When you trip, you get your footing and you continue moving on. That everything in life has to be that you're not stuck. You're not in a hole. You just tripped a little bit and you have to pick yourself up. And when you pick yourself up, that's when you can pull out of yourself incredible, awesome things. In order to be able to make yourself amazing, to be able to pull out the potentials that live inside of you, you have to be careful not to accept mediocrity. Not everything's okay. Not everything is just, it is what it is. No. You got to push and pull harder. The pasuk says, Rabbas machshavas b'levish. The simple way we understand that is that there are many thoughts in the mind of a person. But Atzis Hashem Yisakum. That the advice of God, God's plan is the one that's going to win. Mensch tracht und Gott lacht. Yeah, a man plans, God laughs. That's the simple way of understanding it. But maybe it's saying something else magnificent to us. Rabbis Machshavas B'Levish, when a person falls down, there are so many things in his heart, so many things in the Lev Ish that are pulling him down and saying, I'm nothing, ich bin garnished, I'm nothing. That's Hashem. What's God's advice? Sokum. Get up. Get up. Because you can, if you push yourself, it's amazing what you could become. If you have a challenge and you rise above that challenge, look at what you can accomplish. When you hear somebody give you that bracha, Yisimcha Elikim ki Efraim and Menashe, what they're telling you is that you should have the strength to exceed your capabilities and potentials, like Efraim and Menashe. Remember to listen to that bracha and to answer Amen. May we all be like Efraim and Menashe. May we all exceed our potentials and accomplish greatness. Have a beautiful Shabbos.